If you're a 21-year-old out there and you're watching this, you're a crazy individual. I was thinking about how crazy 21-year-olds are. I mean, including myself when I was one. You have no money. You're liable to do anything. Anyway, somebody can call you and convince you to do anything. You just go, I'm in. And that's the kind of sports bettor you are too. And I to a certain extent, I can understand. There's only one way you can bet if you have no money, and that's rags to riches, pirate parlays. But there are different kinds of pirates. The same way there are different kind of criminals. It all depends how deep you're going to go down that path. For example, a responsible pirate, you can have a bunch of parlays in on the night. You can have a disgustingly awful losing record like the spreadsheet did last night, and somehow end up +4. A dismal record. It's why records are just nonsense, by the way, and still end up winning money. Or conversely, you can watch this video and get angry because there are some losses in there, but if you play everything, you're still a winning bettor, a +2 night based on some of those plus money sniffs. All of a sudden, you start adding a Brady Shea in there, and you're correct about it. You start adding a Lindholm once again with a Marchand +250, +125. You really afford yourself the luxury to make those pizzeria mistakes. It's just like in real life. Responsible eating allows you to have a slice of pizza, which is indeed a mistake. Didn't get the Pittsburgh under 2.5 goals, but I did get the Brady Shea point and the combination in Nashville, so that cleaned out any sort of losses in that game. Strategic pirating. It's the Orlando Bloom style. Look, my dad's a pirate, but my mom's not. There is some sort of saying about, lady in the streets, freak in the pirate in the this, and the nobleman in the this. There's a saying in there. I'll let you guys come up with it in the YouTube comments. But I do feel like the sniffs, like Pepe Le Pew style, I'm drifting towards a lot of correct sniffs. And it started earlier this week, and it's kind of continued yesterday with some of those player point props. This slate's going to be a little bit different. I mean, it's the Friday before Christmas. I'm not going to be singing the 12 days of Christmas with 12 different, the 12. Would it be the 12 bets of Sniff Miss or the 12 sniffs of Christmas? Let me know in the comments once again. But all kidding aside, I've been told over 600 times, Andy, they say it's 95% better if you ask people to do those things at the beginning of the video. And I go, all right, and I've just never done it. So I'm asking now. You want that good sports betting karma? Everything from here on out is based on what you're about to do right now. Are you about to give me the first click, which is that like? Are you about to give me that second click, if you haven't already, with the subscribe? Are you gonna hit comment and just tell me, yo, shut up about this, keep going? Why don't you do that? And then hit share, send it to somebody, click the notifications. I'm disgusted with myself right now. You guys know what I'm going to do? You're going to find out soon. I got a plan so I never have to do this again. Because as I explained to Dave, and be on the lookout for a Dave and a Dan coming soon, I'm sick asking people for anything, which is probably why we have no sponsors, which is why I probably keep asking you guys and encourage you to join the Patreon, which has clearly been worth it. If you don't even look at my picks, you can flush my picks down the toilet and only look at the line combination spreadsheets because it was a +4 after being a +10. Since Sunday, there's been 3 +10 days. It's over 35 units, I believe, up in the last 7 days alone, and we obviously know about the previous 2 months. So that's me gassing myself up. And now let's look at some sniffs on a Friday, but before that, I'm going to bring one NFL sniff to your attention. This is one of the ones that, quote-unquote, made me famous, a.k.a. there isn't a single thing that's made me famous, but something that I brought to everybody's attention before everybody else was the receiving prowess of Isaiah Pacheco, how everyone just thought he was a stone hands, running up the middle, plowing plotter. And after Patrick Mahomes got hurt against Jacksonville and he was trying to play through a high ankle sprain, I said there's not a chance in hell that they're not designing a couple of quick throws so that Mahomes doesn't have to buy extra time, and they're going to do that by swinging it out to Pacheco. Now, there's a little wrinkle here that Kareem Hunt probably will get a look or two because he has been designed a couple passes ever since, earlier in the year when he's joined the team. However, it's not like we haven't seen Pacheco receive a couple targets these past couple weeks. It was only 1 for 15 last week. But to me, the game plan is going to be have those screens ready because the offensive line hasn't been able to protect in pass protection. So I think they're going to do what they always do in these situations, get it out of his hands, get it to the running backs. So what you got to assume, 14.5 receiving yard, 7.5 on some sites, 8.5 on others. I'm doing that. So I'm doing the 7.5 over there on one. I'll pay the minus 120. Then I'm going 8.5. Look at the 25 plus receiving yards. Is that guaranteed? Is that so? All I know is that price over plus 400 for 25 receiving yards for a guy we know. That aforementioned game against the Bengals. This is when nobody thought he could ever catch a ball. McKinnon was still on the roster. What did he have? 5 catches for like 50 yards. So if we get something like that, all I want is this cheap dinky over to hit. Give me 1 catch, 10 yards, take it easy. I'm going to go watch and make sure that Nico Collins doesn't screw me in the fantasy semifinals. However, that over 8.5 is pretty solid to me. Minus 113 over on FanDuel, and that's where you can get that 25 plus, which I'm also going to sprinkle a little on to win 100. That's what I got for you on that NFL side for Saturday. Now, here we go. Some NHL Sniffs, and I'm going to lead with a matchup that I think it's pretty telling, okay? Washington, I saw they were like number 1 in the power rankings last week. There's real number ones, and we're excited to put a new team at number 1. We're excited to put a new team at number 1. They are. The last couple of games, they saw leads slip in Chicago. I think they're on a 2-game losing streak. Look at the offensive pieces. Just look at them. So you're talking about like a career year, beyond a career year for Dylan Strome. A somewhat reinvigorated Tom Wilson, who really, let's be honest, he's on the twilight part of his career. Dubois coming over. McMichael's had a breakout. But you remove the leading goal scorer from that lineup, they're not going to be able to crank out goals and offense and wins like they were. And look, there's that Vin Diesel NOS period. Like, no, we can do this. We can do this. You hit the NOS and you start winning some games. And then a couple games ago, oh, no, we lost one. We got Chicago tomorrow. Look at us, up 2-1 in the third. You lose that game to Chicago. Now you got a couple losses in a row. Carolina, you're pretty much getting the same thing every single night. For the most part, they had a little snide there. It's fully been corrected. They're coming off back-to-back wins. I think 1 goal allowed in 2 games going into Washington. This wasn't even going to be one of my picks. But now just realizing that Carolina's given up 1 goal in 2 games, and I love teams coming off of a shutout. You know how I feel about that defensive chemistry. It worked for us last night in that Calgary game. We kept them under 2.5 goals. Yeah, Sharangovich and Zari screwed me again. Malkin screwed me again. But you haven't screwed me if I ended up on the night. I eventually screwed you. But no, both of you. I semi-got Calgary. I gave him one of those slices, the one like that kind of wounded Hector in Troy. It's only a matter of time before I get you after that. But yes, the under 2.5 goals for the Washington Capitals at plus money, simply because I like taking a team who's playing well defensively. 1 goal allowed in 2 games going into Washington, who's seen their offensive production just slow down a little. I could be wrong about this, but I'm willing to take a crack at it. I like Carolina to win, but the sportsbooks, they're not confused. They don't buy everything right away. Carolina's pretty big favorites against, what is considered one of the top teams in the NHL. They were top in the power rankings, and this game is in Washington. So rather than take that minus 140, like yesterday, I don't want to take the minus 160 or 180 on the Sens. Instead, I'll go with the minus 103 under 2.5 goals for Calgary. I'm going to try the same thing with the Washington Capitals. And then on the Carolina side, because they're not huge favorites, it allows us some solid point prop combos We got the Aho Jarvis at plus money, which is something we weren't getting when they were big favorites against teams like the Islanders or Columbus. Also, the Svechnikov Natchez. These are guys who play together 5-on-5 and on the top power play. We're getting both pairs at plus money. I'd be shocked if at least one doesn't come through. And if one of those line combinations come through, you're still up a small trickle on those line combinations in and of itself. So, assortment of picks in that game. It's kind of my favorite one to focus on the slate. I do think Carolina is going to win, but I'm going to take Washington under 2.5 goals, and then I'm going to take the point prop combos for the top two lines on the Carolina Hurricanes. Then let me look at this Minnesota game. I'm going to take Zucarello. Every single game he's come back, I can't even remember. I don't even know what I talk about on these videos sometimes. I'm like, did I say that to a person? Did I type that on the Patreon? Or was that actually in the video? Every single game Zucarello's come back. He's been playing with the top scorer in the NHL, Kaprizov, and he's registered an assist in all those games. Everybody's cursing. The 21-year-old's livid. He goes, I bet it last game he didn't get it. He did get it. Goal got overturned. But for all intent and purposes, all it's trying to show you is it's there every game. You play with the leading scorer in the NHL. You're a pass-first player, by the way. Matt Zucarello is a pass-first player. And you put that guy with the top scorer in the NHL at 5-on-5 on the top line and the power play. And that line drives essentially the entire offense for the team. And I'm getting that assist at plus money. Yeah, I'm taking it. Plus 105. Maybe you can find you somewhere better somewhere else. Plus 105 for Matt Zucarello against the Utah Coyotes over my shoulder. And then if you want a little additional pirate parlay, give me the assist for Zucarello. Just one.
Just one.
Just 1 point for Cyril Kaprizov. You're not going to see the needle move, but then give me the over 3.5 shots on goal. So assist for Zucarello, point for Kaprizov, 4 shots on goal for Kaprizov as well. There's a semi-responsible pirate parlay. Then let's go look at the Canadiens playing the Red Wings. When it comes to the Pizzeria, I always kind of wince. I'm like, God, I hope it just... Because the Pizzeria picks, man, they are the difficult ones. They really are in this league. Just look at the scores on a nightly basis. Anything and everything can happen. So I'm going to go with the over 6 minus 110 in the Montreal Canadiens Detroit Red Wings game. This is just going to be a chalky mindset. This is going to be my best part to sound like you, a 21-year-old inexperienced bettor who parlays everything together and loses every single night, but still thinks he's got a chance to be at the Bellagio by the end of the year if the right night falls my way. And that donkey mindset would allow me to believe, well, you have a red-hot Canadiens power play and a reinvigorated offense ever since Laine came back. What was it, 3 power play goals? Tons of one-timers coming on the power play, which should theoretically open up even more stuff on the power play. And then you have a Detroit team who clicked for 5, 6, 7 last game. How many did they end up putting in against Philadelphia? So they're staying at home. You know, we had them winning in that game. Staying at home, while I would maybe want to lean Detroit, I don't want to mess with Montreal. They got pretty good juju right now. But what I do think is that there should be goals in this game. But the way the Pizzeria works, the slice don't always taste as good as it looks in the window. But I will say that I'll give the over 6 for the Pizzeria pick of the day. Just every Pizzeria pick hurts me, but I know some of you need it. It's really a catch-22. Ain't it? What's not a catch-22? The New York Rangers. So the other night, we gave out that Trocheck under 0.5 point because without Artemi Panarin, I didn't have faith in the power play to be the difference maker. He actually got a breakaway in that game on the penalty kill. I'm looking at the new rejiggered lines. I think Panarin's going to be back in this game, so you don't want to be messing with that Trocheck line. They got Kreider playing with Hedl. I don't think I want to be messing with that line either, but I see old Dusty DJ Mika Zibanejad getting booed by the home crowd when they're in the Garden. The only thing that slightly worries me this time around is when you have Panarin back, you have to worry about that power play. But as far as 5-on-5 goes, I'm not scared to bet against that line. Are you? Give me the under half of a point for Zibanejad. And something I haven't been doing enough. I know it's a sad truth about these channels. So many people come for an unattainable pirate parlay. You want to think you have a chance with the Instagram model, and you're hoping I give you her number, aka the numbers of a big winning parlay. Look, I'm telling you, she's not going to be interested in you. But here's her number for my 2-point pirate parlay of the night. Give me in that Canadiens-Red Wings game, which I'm hoping goes over 6 for Stevie Bongrip, so he gets some enjoyment on this Friday before Christmas. 2 points for Lucas Raymond and 2 points for Cole Caulfield. That's plus 1,300. And give me 2 points for Nick Suzuki and 2 points for Dylan Larkin. That's another plus 1,300. You guys know what I'm doing. I'm taking a guy from one hot power play, one from another, putting them together in a relatively high-scoring game. The two lines that are pretty much contributing to every single game offensively. The Raymond-Larkin duo and the Cole Caulfield-Nick Suzuki duo, and just kind of mixing and matching them because every combo between them is over plus 1,000. That's available on Draftkings, Bet365. It's available on Bet Rivers, will be available on ESPN Bet a couple hours before game when they offer the alt points. So quite a few websites allow you to do that one. Anyway, there it is. Good luck to you. Better luck to me. Like I said earlier in the video, make sure you give me all those clicks. Help a sniffer out. And the way you can do that the most, especially if you want the weekend sniffs, come join the Patreon. It's patreon.com/Andy Francess. I'll have the line combos out later today. And I'll have that line combos out tomorrow. And I'll have the line combos out Sunday. And we'll see. We'll just see how. Are we going to end up plus 80 for the month? Plus 60, 70, 50? It's like that yodeler on The Price is Right. Subscribe.